So welcome back, Mr. Maxwell. And I know you were mentioning about COVID, how it's impacting or affecting, especially, Amari with his the fact that he doesn't have the proper devices to study because of school. And are they back in school in Jamaica, or it's on everything is on?
No, they're not back in school at all.
Yeah. So with the
As I said,
yeah, with
it's
the
online. It's online for, well, let me explain. The private schools are back on, but the public schools, the vast majority of well, almost all the public schools are still out. So you have some that they have had a test project with so far that they have started, some in the deep rural areas, because the COVID is not in some communities in the deep rural areas. But of course, there's a general fear from the population and so on. But generally, the majority of kids are still online, those who can get online by having a device. I think they had done a study recently, the Ministry of Education, that said that after there's going to be a significant displacement with a number of kids, because there are a number of kids that have been affected negatively, from being out of school for basically it's it's actually from March.
Mhm.
From March, right? Roughly from March, they've been out of school. So there's a lot of kids that, the kids that would have taken their exams earlier this year wouldn't have been too badly affected. But the ones that are going to be preparing to do exams later on next year, external exams that would help to place them in university, that sort of thing, have get them qualified to work, they are going to be deeply affected. Then now the younger kids that are looking to take their primary exit profile, that's an exam that's used to place the kids in high schools, they are also going to be affected. So it affects everybody, but you have some various cohorts that are going to be affected even more than others.
Wow, that's I never thought I would ever live to see anything like this, in terms
Mhm.
of school. Just imagine that, children can go to school. I remember when I was in Jamaica, transportation wasn't as frequent as it is now. Well, we used to go to school, I came from Dover, right? And I used to go to school as a young kid in Windsor Castle, Portland, which it's a good
Okay.
little walk, but, exercise activity wise, it was good. But
Mhm.
these kids now maybe yearning to go to school and can't go because they don't have,
Mhm.
it's not a matter of that they can go, it's because of what's affecting them, right? So,
Right. There's nowhere for them to go.
right. So, in terms of Cavalier and the pandemic, what kind of measures are you practicing now, or are you still doing your daily stuff?
Okay, what's happening now? The youth program, the youth program has basically almost been, I would say, shut down, because we can't get the kids out as yet. We have some of them on a Saturday morning that are coming out, but generally the majority of them, we can't really do anything with them right now, right? But what we have done now is that the senior team, that's the adult team, right? We have integrated, well, this is something Cavalier came up in a world study by an institution in Sweden, right? We didn't ask for it, but they noted that we were one of the top clubs in this hemisphere of giving opportunities to young players under the age of 21, right? So basically what's happening now is that one of the youngsters, Omario, he would be one, but the other one, Christopher Ainsworth, he's actually in our senior program. That's so he's there training now with the senior team with the adults. He's not the only one. There are a couple other kids, and these are kids that are 14, 15. Whereas, but this is something we normally introduce them, but it's normally at 15. But some of them, we're doing it now because we don't want them to stay not having anything to do, and they are extremely talented, extremely talented. Because the youngster, Christopher Ainsworth, since he has come to Cavalier, we knew about him the same time we knew about Amari Henry. And let me tell you something. Between that period, this youngster has traveled to Spain, he has traveled to Mexico, he has been to the Caribbean twice, and all through football. Not all of them directly through Cavalier. Some of them is basically, it's where he was sent by various organizations that saw him play, right? So he got those opportunities through that. But the COVID now has basically closed almost the entire football. Because technically there's no football playing now. There's only training because it's not open back up as yet. The government has not allowed any form of team sports to be open back up as yet, to be able to play, right? So that's the problem that we have right now. They can't go to school, and the majority of them can't even train. They can't even get to play any sports. So you have a double blow for some of them that at least they'd have some leisure. They don't have that. So, you have that sort of thing that it's really going to affect a lot of them because it's like you're caged up. You can't, for some of those who can't even participate in schools, because, schools are for youngsters. It's something that they look forward to go to and not just do the schoolwork, but interact with other kids.
Yeah,
and the same thing the sports is.
I was just going to say that, and they're losing all that privilege.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not easy because even with us here, even for Christmas coming, they're telling us we can only interact within our family. You're not allowed.
That's the same thing here.
Yeah, although you have other families who would normally visit, this year you can't. Just who is within the home, and I don't know how that's gonna be. It's not easy, but it's difficult.
Well, down here we have a curfew that on Christmas Day by 7 p.m. in the night, no one is supposed to be on the road, and they limit the Christmas mixing for just no more than 15 people from a family.
That's not too bad. Here, if that's within the family, so they're saying whoever is within the family, then it's fine, right? Anything outside of the family where you're not under the same roof is a problem.
Yes, actually yes, that's the actual protocols, to be honest. Yes, that's the actual protocols. Right. For Christmas, they did say whoever is under the same roof. Right, they did specify that.
What about what's the fine? Because I know they have a fine.
Oh, the fine varies. Generally, for if you came and well, I know that there's a fine for breaking quarantine. That's around 30,000 Jamaican dollars. You'd have to work that back out in Canada. I don't know what the equivalent is now. But you also have different fines for the people, because you have some people that insist on having their parties, and parties, they can have gatherings for a certain amount of people, but by a certain time, because of the curfew, meaning that no one is to be on the road after a certain time, a lot of these people having the gathering party, they're being fined. Their fines, I think, are anything from 100,000 to way more, because the people that play the music, they seize their equipment.
What?
So, they have to pay to get the equipment back, I think, in addition to the fine.
So they're running a risk.
Mm-hmm.
And comes with a lot of costs.
Yes, it does.
Yes, so I'm gonna take another break so we keep within the same. So I'm gonna take another break and then I'll be right back for about a minute or so.
Okay, no problem. No, I do that last.
Yes, Mr. Maxwell, welcome back to the Reggaelution show. So, as we're going towards the end of the show, I just thought we haven't heard nothing about you as yet. And
Mhm.
based on your CV, it's huge. So, I'd just like for you to, just talk a little bit about yourself, how you got started, what lead you up to all these achievements. And from what I'm seeing and listening, I know that you have more coming, right? So just share with us.
Okay, well, quickly, how I actually got involved was I was studying. I'd taken some time off from where I used to work with the airline industry, and I'd taken some time off to study, but I was also doing some part-time teaching. And it was at an inner city school. This was a school that you had a lot of kids that really were from very, very poor backgrounds. And you had kids that were coming to school without shoes, not getting anything to eat. And every time, they'd be coming to the teacher asking, "Sir, boy, I need a little thing to get something out by the school gate to eat." And, it reached out to you. But they also didn't have any form of a football program. So I said, okay, I saw how talented a lot of them were. And I helped them into putting together a team. As I said, a lot of them were less fortunate. Well, the majority of them, none of them had football boots, anything like that. We had to do a little bottle drive to raise funds and that sort of thing. Anyway, what happened outside of that now was that somebody from a high school saw me. I used to play practice matches against my kids. And he realized that, no, man, these kids are really, really talented. So there was a competition coming up at the under 13 level. And he said, "Mr. Maxwell, bring them and let's enter them under the name of this club that was name was Medieval United at the time." And I said, "No problem, I'm going to do that." Well, we went, and then one day he asked to play a practice match between those kids and his kids that were at this high school. These were younger kids now, and they outplayed him totally, and he wasn't too pleased about it, right? So the first thing he said no, because he wanted all of the kids from this upper high school to play in the competition coming up. So we're using this almost as a trial. So the first thing he did the day, after the end of the match, he looked and he said, "Mr. Maxwell, don't carry them, any of them street boys back. Come here. Don't want to see them back." And I looked at him because I'm going to be honest, I'm not from a lower economic background, right? I was grew up quite privileged and okay, right? And when I heard him refer to these youngsters, these kids, as street boys, and none of them were street boys. They came from poor backgrounds, but they weren't like that. I said, "Look here." I told the guys, I turned around and I told them, "Look here, this is something new I'm getting into, but I'm not going to be in anything that anybody's going to refer to kids like that." And I said, if you want to stay, you can stay, but for me, I'm going. And we left. I walked through the football, the gate for the field that day. And when I was going up the road, every one of the kids that I carried was walking behind me like the Pied Piper of Hamelin. But the most unique part was the guys from the coach's team, the high school, were also following us. So everybody was leaving. So what happened now? The person that was in charge for the club, he drove down, and when he saw everybody going out and following me up the road, he was asking, "What's happening?" And when I told him, I said, "Boy, I thought this was something I wanted to do, but if it's somebody going to be treated." Anyway, right. So what happened from that now was he spoke to the coach. The coach didn't stay at the club. He didn't even stay. And we did well. And then after that, about a year after, some of those young kids were looking to get into school. So this was something new to me. One, some of them didn't get through to the schools they wanted to get. And I said, okay, let me try and help to get you into another school. And to be honest, when I went to some of the more noted schools, they didn't know me and they said, "No, we can't do anything for that kid," even though his grades were quite good. So what happened? Uh, I was told by someone from the school that he passed for, that, send him there because, uh, we have kids that pass up to 3 subjects, right? So after when I heard that only 3 subjects, I said, no, I'm going to really try harder. So I went to Jamaica College, and when I went there, right, I told them about the youngster. They looked at his grades. It was 2 of them actually, and they took him in. And after that, everything just changed. People knew me because based after how well these kids did, they wanted them to join the team or come to their school.
And that goes to show that one should never give up,
That's true.
right? You have to continue or be persuasive all the time. You can't give up on something because
That's
you
true.
never know where it may lead you, right? Or
Well, for me myself, after that introduction, I moved from that football club to another one, Cavalier. We did very well, but to be honest, over the years, we did well inside Jamaica. But the crowning achievement came about 2 years ago when we got invited to the largest football tournament in the world, right? This was in Gothenburg, Sweden. We were invited there. And to be honest, I was so proud when I stepped out onto the field and you heard Bob Marley's Buffalo Soldier. I'm going to send a clip of it to you so you can have a look at it.
yeah.
Buffalo Soldier was playing in the arena and everybody was singing it. Everybody was singing the song. And we were there, the smallest team, right, from Jamaica at this event. And everybody was, singing along as we were there. So for me personally, after that, I said, there's nothing else that can top that. It was like the crowd that you'd see at an Olympics and you're coming in and everybody's singing. It was tremendous. Honestly, I don't think anything could top it. We went the year after. I didn't bother to go to that parade because, to be honest, everything had already been achieved for me. So I let some other people get the feeling. But, it was really good.
I'm looking at your achievements and they go back as far as, I don't have it in front of me, but I think 2015 or before. And I see Sweden, I see all these different, I'm not sure if it's trophies, awards, whatever, but I've seen that you've gotten so many.
Hold on, Janet, 1 minute. Can you pause?